Every priority feels urgent until you learn the one question that exposes which ones actually matter. Most never ask it. Monday morning. You open your laptop and there are already 3 Slack messages marked urgent. Your VP wants a status update on the product launch. Engineering says the API migration is blocked and needs your decision right now. And marketing just moved up their campaign deadline by 2 weeks without telling you. Everything is priority 1. Nothing can wait. And you're sitting there with one brain and one calendar trying to figure out which fire to run toward first. This is what managing competing priorities actually looks like. Today, I'm going to walk you through a framework that the best project managers use to cut through the chaos without burning out or dropping the ball. The first thing you need to understand is that most priority conflicts aren't real. They feel real, absolutely. But they're actually a symptom of something deeper: unclear ownership, missing context, or stakeholders who simply haven't talked to each other. When a marketing lead says their campaign is the top priority and an engineering lead says the migration is the top priority, they're both right from where they sit. The conflict isn't that you have too many priorities. The real problem is that nobody has made the hard call about what matters most to the business right now. That job falls on you. Not to do everything at once. Not to keep everyone happy. Your role is to create clarity where there is none. McKinsey's research on organizational health found that leaders who explicitly deprioritize the bottom third of their initiatives consistently outperform those who try to advance everything simultaneously. Saying no, or even just saying not yet, is the skill that separates overwhelmed PMs from truly effective ones. The first piece of this framework is something I call the forced rank. Not a priority matrix with 4 colored quadrants. Not a spreadsheet with 17 columns and conditional formatting. A simple, single list where every initiative has a number and no 2 items share the same spot. This sounds brutal, and honestly, it is. But that's exactly the point. When you force rank, you eliminate the comfortable lie that 5 things can all be number 1. Here's how it works in practice. Take every active project and request on your plate right now. Write them all down. Then ask one question for each: if I could only ship one thing this quarter, would it be this? Stack them based on your answers. Your VP's product launch might land at number 1. The API migration sits at number 2. Marketing's campaign might end up at number 5. That doesn't mean 5 gets ignored, it means when there's a conflict between 1 and 5, you already know the answer before anyone even asks. You don't waste energy redeciding every time someone walks up to your desk with urgency written all over their face. But a forced rank that lives only in your head is useless. The second piece of this framework is making that rank visible and getting buy-in from the people who matter. This is where most PMs get deeply uncomfortable. Telling a senior stakeholder that their pet initiative isn't the top priority takes real courage. Here's what I've learned from watching highly effective program managers at companies like Atlassian and Stripe: they never hide the trade-offs. They present them openly. You walk into the room and say, here are our top 5 priorities in order. Here are the resources we actually have. If you want to move item 4 up to position 2, tell me which one moves down. That single sentence changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. Suddenly you're not the bottleneck or the person saying no. You're the one creating transparency and forcing honest decisions. People respect that, even when they don't love where their project landed on the list. Alignment doesn't mean everyone agrees with you. It means everyone sees the same picture and understands the reasoning behind the order. Even with a clear rank and aligned stakeholders, competing priorities will eat you alive if you try to context switch between all of them throughout the day. The third piece of this framework is fiercely protecting your focus. Block 2 to 3 hours every single day where you work exclusively on your top-ranked priority. No Slack notifications. No meetings. No quick questions that spiral into 30-minute conversations. I know that sounds nearly impossible, especially in organizations that treat your calendar like a public park anyone can wander through. But the research backs this up hard. Cal Newport's work on deep focus demonstrates that it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully re-engage after a single interruption. If you're bouncing between 4 priorities every hour, you're never doing real work on any of them. You're skimming the surface of everything and mastering nothing. Protect your mornings or whatever time block works best for your brain. Communicate clearly when you're available and when you're not. The strongest PMs I've ever worked with guard their calendars like a strategic asset because that's exactly what it is. Priorities shift, and pretending they don't is a recipe for wasted effort. What was number 1 last Monday might drop to number 3 this week because a client pushed their launch date or a competitor made an unexpected move. The final piece of this framework is a weekly reset, a focused 30-minute session, either solo or with your core team, where you revisit the forced rank and ask 3 specific questions. What changed since last week? Does the current rank still hold up? What needs to move, and why? This habit prevents 2 dangerous patterns. First, it stops you from charging forward on autopilot toward a priority that quietly became irrelevant days ago. Second, it gives you a structured space to absorb new information thoughtfully instead of reacting to every urgent ping the moment it hits your screen. Think of it as recalibrating your compass every 7 days so you don't drift off course without even noticing. So here's what I want you to do right now, before you click away from this video. Open a blank document or grab a notebook, whatever's closest. Write down every active project and request that's competing for your attention this week. Force rank them. 1 through however many you've got. No ties allowed, no shared spots. Then share that list with at least 1 key stakeholder before the day is over. That's it. 1 list. 1 honest conversation. You will be genuinely surprised at how much clarity that single exercise creates. Managing competing priorities was never about working harder or staying later. It's about making the hard calls early, communicating them with confidence, and coming back to revisit them before they go stale. You've got this. And if this framework clicked for you, leave a comment telling me what landed at number 1 on your list this week. I'd really love to hear it. That's a wrap, thanks for watching. If this gave you one idea you can use today, hit like and subscribe. See you in the next one.